One of the great recreational opportunities that's available to folks in Allen County is the River Greenway system that's being constructed. And with us now is Dawn Ritchie. She's the Greenway manager, and she's going to talk to us about where the project stands and what's ahead in the future. Thanks for being with us today.
Oh, thank you for inviting me. I'm very happy to join you today.
Explain a little bit about what the River Greenway is.
Well, the River Greenway right now, as it currently stands, is a 23-mile multi-purpose trail, multi-use trail. What I mean by multi-use, we have bicyclists, walkers, runners, joggers, inline skaters, even skateboarders that use the River Greenway. And it traverses our whole community along our three rivers. We've got the St. Joe pathway, which runs from downtown to Johnny Appleseed Park. We're working on an extension to Shove Park, which we'll see construction begin on that next year. So that will be 6 miles long once the extension to Shove Park is complete. We've also got the St. Mary's pathway, which runs from downtown to Tillman Park, and that's 9 miles. And then finally we have the Maumee pathway, which is where we're standing today. That runs from downtown Fort Wayne at the confluence of the three rivers to Mosier Park and New Haven, and that is approximately 9 miles as well.
Now, a lot of people have the idea that River Greenway is a City of Fort Wayne project, but you really get out into Allen County as well.
Oh, absolutely. Not only has the City of Fort Wayne Public Works and the Parks Department worked on this project, but New Haven has been very, very much involved. A couple of years ago, they built this extension, this 3-mile extension into Mosier Park. And not only along our three rivers, but we're developing trails throughout the community. Allen County has been very actively involved with this. Several years ago, Allen County Highway Department constructed a trail along Grable Road connecting the communities of Leo, Cedarville, and Grable. It was funny, as soon as that trail was constructed, we had a lot of users on that trail, and we had a lot of people calling the City of Fort Wayne asking, when are you going to extend the River Greenway up the St. Joe River so that our two communities can be connected with Fort Wayne and New Haven? Also, the county's been very involved with trail projects this year along Amber Road. They're going to be also constructing a trail along a segment of Aboit Center Road where they're widening it. But the county's been very, very involved. They've even been involved with our Wabash and Erie Canal Towpath Trail. You know, Aboit New Trails, which is a local nonprofit Greenway advocacy group, they have a master plan to develop over 40 miles of trails on Aboit Township. And so far they have developed 10 miles of that 40-mile network. Well, to connect the 40 miles in Aboit Township with the 23-mile River Greenway network, we're all working together to develop a 5.5-mile trail called the Towpath Trail. It runs along the old Wabash and Erie Canal. You're probably wondering, why is it called the Towpath? The old Wabash and Erie Canal, when it was in existence back in the early 1800s, generally there was a dirt path running parallel with the canal where mules and horses would tow boats and barges up and down the canal, so hence the Towpath Trail. So this 5.5-mile towpath trail, we've already got 1 mile constructed with several more miles to be constructed in 2008. It should be finished next year, but the partners involved with that are Allen County Highway Department, City of Fort Wayne Public Works Department, Aboit New Trails, and the Greenway Consortium.
So ultimately, what will the River Greenway look like, or what will it consist of ultimately?
Well, the River Greenway itself will just be the trail, the main hub or the main line of the total Greenway network along the rivers, along the three rivers. Okay, here are the Greenway projects for Fort Wayne, New Haven, and Allen County. There are 3 Greenway groups, Greenway advocacy groups, that Fort Wayne, New Haven, and Allen County work very closely with. One being Aboit New Trails. That is what you see in southwest Fort Wayne and Allen County. In green, this is their 40-mile network that they have proposed. Wherever you see a red trail on this map, that is an existing trail. So Aboit's already has 10 miles of trails that are constructed. And of course we have the River Greenway, you know, the 23-mile River Greenway network in red. Another Greenway advocacy group that we work very closely with is Northwest Allen Trails. They have plans to develop trails in, obviously, northwest Fort Wayne and northwest Allen County, primarily along these 2 railroad corridors. These are former railroad corridors, the New York Central and the Grand Rapids, Indiana line. They'd also like to develop a 6.5-mile trail along DuPont Road, and we've already constructed a couple sections of that, including a nearly 2-mile loop around Solomon Farm and the Parkview YMCA. We also work very closely with the Greenway Consortium. So whatever you see in blue and in gray, those are City of Fort Wayne and Greenway Consortium projects. For instance, the Cougar Trail, which will go from Sweeney Park up to the University of St. Francis and then eventually out to Buckner Park. The Puffer Belly Trail, which is the name, Puffer Belly, it's the historic name for steam locomotives. That will be a greenway extension from the River Greenway at Lawton Park and Headwaters Park up to Franke Park, and then eventually up to the New York Central line. This New York Central line is actually part of a state visionary trail that will go from Pokagon State Park down to Wabash State Park in Bluffton. It will be an 80-mile trail that will also connect with trails in southern Michigan. Once we get off of the rivers, we're going to have different segments called different trail names, such as the Towpath Trail or the Aboit Trails or the Puffer Belly Trail, which will go from Lawton Park up to Franke Park and then farther north, and it will eventually connect with a trail that we're going to build along the former New York Central Railroad corridor up in northwest Fort Wayne and Allen County. So this entire network will eventually be well over 100 miles. Right now, including the River Greenway and the trails out in Aboit and the trail between Leo, Cedarville, and Grable, and a few other trails that we've constructed that aren't connected yet with the system. We have existing 40 miles of trails in Fort Wayne and Allen County and New Haven right now. But in terms of developing more and more trails to make that a more connected network, we're going to eventually have well over 100 miles.
Well, what you're hoping for, I guess, in essence, are places all throughout Fort Wayne and Allen County where people can if you will, jump onto the system and be able to go most anywhere they want on foot or two-wheel or however many wheels you want to take.
Absolutely. You know, with higher gas prices, we're seeing more and more bicyclists out on our streets, and our streets and roads are just not bicycle friendly. So between developing more trails to connect our neighborhoods with our entire community, we also want to see a lot more bike lanes constructed as well in the near future. But we ultimately, the goal would be every single household would eventually be connected to the network through sidewalks, trails, and bike lanes.
And we talk about the recreational opportunities this presents and obviously the health benefits that are involved, but this is also an environmentally friendly type of system.
Oh, absolutely. First of all, it gives you an opportunity to educate those in our community about the environment. I mean, the experience on the River Greenway is not like any other experience in Fort Wayne or Allen County. When you're out on the River Greenway, you forget that you're in the city. You are in a very natural linear park corridor. You see all sorts of wildlife. Within the last month, I've seen a fox and I've seen a wild turkey. I've seen all sorts of wildlife along the trails. It also gives us an opportunity to teach others more about our water, our rivers, our water quality. And then, of course, in terms of other environmental benefits, getting more and more people out of vehicles and onto bikes, you improve your air quality for the community too.
Well, Don, we appreciate your time today. A fantastic project that's going on in our community. Wish you the best of luck and success in it, and we look forward to seeing the progress.
Thank you very much for your support.